Hello and welcome back to Live Laugh Stuck. Finally, hello, we're back. I'm Jackie, aka Jax, and back with me is Moosey. Hi, Moosey.
Hi, Moosey. Also, it's like already past the middle of July, which is terrible. It's like every time I look at the calendar, I'm halfway through another month.
I know, it's crazy, because I meant to actually start getting podcasts out again at the beginning of July, and then it's like, how do I do that if I'm taking June off from doing things? I can't have something at the beginning of the July, and here we are. Probably the end of July, whenever this comes out. But, whatever, it's fine. I do think it's funny. I was like, hey, yeah, this is a Moosestuck episode, because this is the title. So, of course, Moosey's here. But it would be weird not to introduce you, but it also kind of makes me just want to post a Moosestuck where it is just me. Or, someone else entirely. It would be dumb.
Someone else with the Moose username.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna scour the internet for another Moose. And bring them on. It's like, do you know anything about Homestuck? You know what? It doesn't matter. Get on here. Yeah, so we did read this section before the break. So at the end of May, we read this, and we have gone through, and Moosey took some very nice notes as a summary for us to kind of look over, but hopefully...
It's just a very bare bones summary, because I was looking at it last week again. It's just, here's who talked to each other.
Yeah, that is what this section is. We did pages 700, Jesus, way early on, 7,804 to 7,939, and we are still in the everyone is talking to each other time. Which I think is more fun on another read through than it might be when you're first going through it. And I kind of wonder, I kind of wonder what the live experience was, even though I was one of the live readers by this point in time. Way earlier than this point in time. But I don't think I really mind a lot of the talking. What do you think? Do you wish there was more action? Do you want these kids to stop fucking talking to each other?
They do talk a lot.
They do.
More talky times than a Kojima game.
Yeah, I haven't played a Kojima game, but from what I hear, it's a lot. It's a lot of talking.
There's just not like a billion characters in the average Metal Gear Solid or whatever, so...
I don't know. I watched an 8-hour Metal Gear Solid, or I guess Metal Gear series review, except for I guess there's a side game or something. And it was 8 hours, and there's still a lot of characters. Some of them were the same person.
Yeah, but you're usually consuming one game at a time.
That's fair.
You got your little core group of people, and usually you don't get surprise new groups of people.
Yeah, it's we got a double Danganronpa. All three Danganronpas put together is Homestuck, where it's just 16 characters from the start of the game, and you're like, these are too many. I can't wait for them to start dying so I don't have to think of them anymore. Which is what happened with the Trolls. Trolls just played Danganronpa on the Meteor. That's got to be an AU out there, right? I feel like I need to go to AU3 after this and go find Act 5, Act 2 Danganronpa AU. Which is so besides the point of any of this. So we start this section off with a choice, and we both chose Jane to go first, probably because it was left to right or something. And it's 3 Janes all together, because Jane's talking to Nanasprite, then another Nanasprite comes up, and Jane gets pranked times 2. Which is, I don't know, I just love it. Imagine an old person version of you from an alternate timeline fucking smashes a cake into your face. I forget what the prank was. I didn't write that down. It wasn't important. The important thing is that Jane gets double pranked.
I think I'd be like, you know how busy I am. I don't need these shenanigans, please.
Yeah, that's fair. And I just don't like pranks, so I wouldn't do it to me.
Yeah, it's I'm dealing with all of this leaky home plumbing and shit. I don't need a cake in my face right now, please. Oh,
leaky home plumbing sounds like legitimately the worst part of home ownership. Besides the money.
Well, the money. It's because of the money.
Yeah, that's true.
It's not the cheapest repair.
But yeah, then we go to Jake and Jasprosesprite, and they're just still a sad sack of guys. They're just a sad sack of guys, and that's what this section is them being kind of pathetic. Just a lot pathetic. And just I'm sorry for people who like these characters in this section. I mean, there's some good stuff to come out of it. I should have gotten the quote, but I wrote Jake aromantic and aplatonic confirmed. So whatever he said there, I agree with my past self. I mean, I've long thought he was aromantic anyway. Let's throw aplatonic on top, sure.
I don't think I've heard of aplatonic.
Yeah, I don't hear about it a lot, but it's just people who, like, don't really feel, like, friendship feelings to people. Like, they can, like, think people are, like, cool, but just not really want to be friends with anyone.
Okay.
Which, yeah, I haven't really seen it discussed a lot since I got off Tumblr.
Yeah. I'm more used to, like, the aromantic group of peeps. There's lots of types of peeps.
It's people who just want to collect all the A's, I think. They're just...
It's like, I'm atheist, I'm autistic.
I have ADHD, I'm asexual, I'm a gender, I'm a... you know?
Yeah.
They're just... you gotta just make new A terms to hoard for yourself.
Though, side note, I always kind of feel like it's all tied back to autism, because it's like, well, gender doesn't fucking make sense, and...
That's so true.
Okay, in my opinion, Jesus doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're, like, I assume the, like, Catholic monks who did nothing but, like rewrite the scripture and stuff were just, like, autistic for Jesus.
Yeah, they're, shoot, what's the word?
Special interest?
Special interest, yeah.
Yeah. You know, some people get trains, some people get boats, some people get Jesus, and I think that's just, like, old-timey Catholic scholars.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I'd be better off as a nun, even though I'm not religious. I'd just be like, oh, I could hang out with my homies and do crafts.
I think they do more than crafts, but yeah. Anyway, Jake. Let me read this. I could not think of more peak depressed prospect pages patting themselves on the back for embracing their perceived inherent lack in quality or deservedness of true friendship as an excuse to stop self-reflecting or growing as a person if I tried. Yeah, I mean, that kind of sums up this conversation, is like, why would we work on ourselves if we can just be kind of pathetic forever? And everyone already knows we're pathetic, so what's the point in doing anything more?
I guess it's how you use your pathetic time that counts.
I guess. I mean, I think not embracing that you're pathetic should be the first thing you do with your time being pathetic. And I have no idea why I wrote this, but where's all the Jake X Jasprosesprite fic? I demand it now. Damn, I wish I had written examples of what happened. Like, you always grab, like, little comments and screen grabs and stuff, and I'm just like, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's fine.
In a month and a half, yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought it was going to be a couple weeks, but even then, I wouldn't remember.
No. If it's past 5 seconds, I don't remember.
Exactly.
There is sometimes it's hard to disagree with a lot of consecutive words. I think I agree with you, which is kind of how I just felt when you just read that other quote.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. That's so funny, because I feel like in the meantime, I saw someone say almost that exact phrase, like after a thread of someone just doing the worst queer discourse. Other people wrote multiple threads trying to piece apart what exactly she was fucking saying. But someone wrote at the end, is like, hey, I don't really understand all this, but you tend to have good opinions, so I think I'm just dumb. And I'm like, you're not. She just said a lot of words.
Yeah. And then Jasprosesprite's also allergic to themselves, right?
Yeah, so Jasprosesprite is allergic to cats, which we find this out because Jaspro shows up. But before Tavros notices that Jaspros showed up, he starts sneezing. And then we see that it's Jaspros, or Tavros does. And then they try to make it act like he doesn't actually have an allergy and it's fake, because Jaspros gives him a button as though it's a pill to swallow as a placebo, and it works. But yeah, and then Vriska texts Jake to be like, hey, check your pockets and just like throw the thing in your pocket, which is like, they did nothing to establish that Vriska slipped something into Jake's pocket. It really feels like Huzzy was like, this would be a cool idea. How do I make it happen? Oh yeah, Vriska just slipped something into Jake's pocket at some point in time. So it's the little cat thing that summons, or cat toy. It's a little cat toy thing, the little mouse that summons Godcat.
Though in my notes I put, Jake pulls a tampon out of his pocket.
Oh my god. Yeah. Fucking a used one, because it was red, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I was like, what is this?
Yeah, no, it's a little cat toy, not a used tampon.
It's a mouse.
fuck. Godcat shows up and gets prototyped with Tavros, and so yeah, now Tavros is allergic to himself and asks for another quote-unquote pill to help it go away, and so there's just like this like, oh well, what if it seems like Tavros isn't actually allergic and it's just all in his head, except for the fact that he started sneezing before he knew Jaspros was there, and that's that on that.
Feels like foreshadowing, except I'm bad at telling what's foreshadowing in this story.
I'm just bad at telling what's foreshadowing in general, like, unless it's like children's TV obvious.
Mm-hmm.
But I did write this Vriska's quote. There's been kind of a long history of people underappreciating how much shit I do for this guy that kind of looks bad, but is actually in his best interest. Which is just like, yeah, that's Vriska's attitude towards Tavros, and then the bad Vriska fans take her seriously. Mm-hmm. They're like, no, yeah, she did do actually good stuff for Tavros. And this is the point in the series. Well, everything is a point in the series where I have to complain about Vriska fans, because I'm the only one who actually loves Vriska. Which I told that to Dami the other day, and she was like, that's what every Vriska fan thinks. And it's always true. Except for the ones who aren't me. Oh yeah, I forgot Jasprosesprite just straight up grabs Nepeta's severed head and smooches it. Like father, like daughter, I guess. Actually, no, it was Jake that smooched the head, so... Is that why I said Jasprosesprite x Jake? Because they both smooched decapitated heads? You know, ships have been based off of less.
Indirect kissing, right?
I mean, it's not even indirect, because it's not the same head. They smooch different decapitated heads. Okay. I mean, Gamzee also smooched decapitated heads. I mean, there's a lot of smooching of decapitated heads in this comic now that I think about it. It's the fucking Phineas and Ferb quote, except it's 3 nickels instead of 2. Mm-hmm. And then we hang out with Vriska and Mina, the unparentheses Vriska, the Vriska that Mina dumped other Vriska for. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to figure out how to deploy the weapon when they see the army of, as you put it, ghostly ghosts. And Tavros, dead Tavros, pre-retcon Tavros, is leading the army.
This is the same army that did the dance-off before? Question mark?
It is just... It could be them. It's just a bunch of dead Doom timelines. So, like, yeah, it's probably some of them. It's just a lot of them. There's, like, infinite ghosts, basically, because there's infinite Doom timelines.
We live in a Doom's timeline.
Yeah.
Sorry. Let's read Homestuck.
Let's read Homestuck. Nothing bad ever happens in here, and no one gets very, very mad about things, least of all the host. But yeah, we do get to go back to Vriska being fucking owned by Tavros, because Tavros got an army through the power of friendship, like a fucking anime character.
Yeah, he's the shonen protagonist.
He is the shonen protagonist. He has perhaps reached his page potential, and he gets to do a bunch of dancing. And then Tavros, instead of like being into Vriska, just starts worshipping Mina, and Mina gets to ride on his horns.
And he turns the army control over to her?
Yeah, he turns army control over to her, so Mina's in charge now.
Yeah, I didn't really write any quotes about that, just the notes.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, it's so funny because, like, the reason that, like, Mina's group found their version of S-Grub is because she didn't want to be Empress and want all that responsibility and ran away to one of the moons. Was there only one moon? Because the other moon is like Doc Scratch's moon, right? And he wasn't in the original session.
I don't know. We need to get a astronomer, Homestuck astronomer.
Dummy, can I interrupt you? Was there only one moon in Before Us? Because the other... Yeah, okay, cool. I was right. There's only one moon. How much did it fuck up the ocean? Like, you know, we talk about, like, the behavioral and, like, the societal differences between Before Us and Alternia that were, like, made specifically to get Alternia tougher and shittier. But, like, how did the oceans change, you know? Because now there's another moon.
A different moon? Oh, okay. On the tougher troll planet, was that one moon or 2 moons?
2 moons. The main trolls, like Vriska and everyone, are from Alternia. They have 2 moons because Doc Scratch has a moon.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that Mina's from had one moon.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe it just led to troll climate change.
Troll climate change, yeah.
To toughen them up.
Exactly. It's like, let's fucking destroy just the atmosphere and everything as well, just to continue to toughen you up, because creating a murder society isn't tough enough. Oh, yeah, that's literally my note. Mina's character arc. Running away from being the Empress to being the Empress over the dream bubbles. Sometimes you just gotta go back to your roots, I guess. Then we switch to Jasprosesprite coercing Nepeta into a date. Alice in Wonderland themed date, because Jake is there with a Mad Hatter hat on, but he's not allowed to talk or anything. He's just there for vibes. He's a prop. Jake is a prop. He's literally, it's so funny because people talk about him as like the character trope of like, oh, what is it? Like, whenever like a woman in a movie could be replaced by a lamp and like nothing would change. And now here Jake is as a literal object, like a literal prop for a date between two girls, one of which doesn't understand that it's a date and is like kind of fine with it but kind of weird about it. And then Jake pops in, I think you should both kiss. That's what the fandom says about all characters at every time.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like Jake is probably disassociating right here.
Yeah.
What kind of thoughts is he thinking right now?
No thought, head empty. Again, I wish I would have like written the quote down or something, because I say, and now Hussey has an explanation for how sometimes sprites that were only prototyped once could still touch things sometimes, lol. I think the explanation was like, if it's just for like a second or something, it's fine. But it would have been helpful if I took a screenshot or otherwise wrote a note.
Well, they did, what was it? Dave Sprite and Nepeta Sprite shake hands? What else were they touching? Were they touching just the teacups and not prototyping?
So it's like how, was this, I think it was before like John's sprite got prototyped a second time. Yeah, it was before John's sprite got prototyped a second time. They high-fived. That is the earliest example I can remember of like that happening. But yeah, I think there's just been a couple of times where like people have touched and it hasn't been like a big deal.
Just have to rewrite Homestuck now to take care of these plot holes.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, so Jaspers is doing like such a job of trying to convince Nepeta that all of her previous crushes, well, I guess her crush on Karkat actually wasn't great, and Karkat wouldn't be great for her, and actually Jaspers would be the best for her forever and always. And I really don't like the characterization that Jaspers is giving Karkat, like obsessive and controlling about Terezi. Like we saw some of that at first with like the shipping chart and trying to be like, okay, Dave, you can hang out with Terezi at this time and then we'll switch. And then like, you know, trying to organize, you know, how you have to organize your polycule. And Karkat's just intense about it. But like, I'm pretty sure Karkat got dumped pretty early on in the meteor trip. So like Jasper shouldn't have like 3 years or even like probably more than a year of Karkat being weird and obsessive. Like we just don't see that outside of that one example whenever a penis Ouija happens. I don't know. I'm just a Karkat defender, and I think Jaspers is just really trying to intentionally or unintentionally coerce Nepeta into dating her.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, you shouldn't have to try to convince a person to date you.
Yeah. Like the lines, we are the only two who can actually date. Yeah, it's not great. So it is a little bit of a blessing when Dave Sprite shows up, and for some reason Dave Sprite just thought Jaspers was on a date with Jake. And then we get the best character in all of Homestuck, Dave Petasprite. This is so many people's favorite character who is showing up just now.
Why?
Bird, cat, non-binary vibes. Like,
oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Is like, you got the Dave and you got the Nepeta, and he put them together.
I think I'm just kind of turned off by anything Dave.
High-key Dave hater. That's so funny. Yeah, no, that's fair, but a lot of people do like Dave Pettisprite. I mean, definitely some of it is that they are, like, the first canonical non-binary character in Homestuck, that they actually, like, kind of talk about gender a bit and go by they, them.
Mm.
Yeah, but I mean, also, they look cool as hell. Like, look at those fucking Wolverine claws. Also,
Sure.
the introduction of Claw, meowther fuckers. You know how many furries are into Homestuck?
I don't know.
1 billion.
I actually hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
I just don't see many, like, fursonas that I would clock as Homestuckian.
That's fair. I guess all the furries that are into Homestuck do probably, like, just go to, like, Nepeta and Jade primarily, though Dave canonically has a fursona. The only note I have under Calliope and the mayor fucking points to his sash, like, yep, I'm the mayor. Because Calliope's like, hey, are you the mayor? It's like, bitch, it's on my torso.
Then I didn't really write down a lot about Calliope with real or other Calliope and...
Yeah, the alt Calliope and Jade. Yeah.
Traveling around.
You're just learning about space and time and how Jade can't wake up yet. Like, yeah, alt Calliope could, but it's not her time yet. And, like, how much longer it's going to be is like, well, it's not like there's any way, you know, just like esoteric bullshit from alt Calliope as one would expect by this point. Just wonderful esoteric bullshit.
So much setup for a battle.
Yeah, there's a lot. We've been waiting on this battle for so long. It's I've been digging through some older Homestuck fics, and it's just so funny to see like where people thought it would go, like back in like 2012 and stuff. Like, damn. Yeah.
Or I think I remember feeling like when the kids were getting into the game, I was like, then we're gonna get like a quest and like some action happening, and then it was like, no.
No. It's very boring. I mean, at least Hussey spared us most of the 3 years, but that's partially to get the comic timeline caught up with real world timeline. And then the 3 months that the alpha kids spent just hanging out doing fuck all also got skipped over, because there could have been a lot more non-action happening than we got.
Yeah. What percent of Homestuck proper do you think is non-action happening?
Well, you see, you find all of the flashes and take those out of Homestuck, and the rest is non-action.
Yeah.
I'm only exaggerating a little.
It's like 30 minutes of action versus however long it takes 30.
Kind of want to see a compilation of all the flashes back to back. You know how they do it with like video game cutscenes? But there's definitely not enough context in any of these flashes for you to know what the fuck is going on. And then you would have to kind of like define what a flash is, like, because there's like just some moving stuff. I mean, I guess anything that also has sound would count as a flash for these purposes. I don't know. Dave Petta and Jaspros have gender talk because, like, Jaspros is Rose with a male cat, but cats don't give a fuck about gender, so, like, whatever. While Nepeta and Dave are, like, 2 distinctly different genders, though many trans-masked Nepeta fans would disagree. Jaspros, she was going to be my wife. Fucking calm down, Jaspros. Jesus Christ. And just fucking, I'm sorry, I generally try not to focus too much about this in the podcast, but like there's so much incest bait in this comic that people forget about. I haven't heard about this Dave Petta and Jaspros thing like almost at all ever, which is crazy because that's the side of the internet I hang out on. But it's just like they're talking about going on a date, and I forget if they finish it here. They go back to it. Oh yeah, they finish it here, where it's like there's just this back and forth of like, I don't know, Dave kind of feels weird about it, and like the Rose side kind of feels weird about it, but the cat side and the Peta side don't give a shit. So like maybe we will go out on a date, and it's like it's left open if they go out on a date. It's right there. And anyway, people who don't like. Or it's not that people who don't like fictional incest ships, because there are plenty of people who don't like it, but people who think like anyone who was interested in that dynamic shouldn't like be in the fandom. Just like, this is Homestuck. This is like being into Game of Thrones and saying you don't want to see anything about incest. Like, this is not the medium for you. I genuinely forgot about this. It's so funny. But it's also neat dynamics, and it's just also funny. It's like, well, my cat side and well, my cat girl side don't care. And yeah, Jasprosesprite is just gonna hop off to go say hi to everyone else, or at least a few other people before fighting Lord English, which is real interesting because Dave's whole thing was being built up as the guy who's gonna fight Lord English, and he doesn't fucking want to do that. And now Jasprosesprite is like, yeah, I'm gonna go do it. I'm sure the Dave scholars out there would have a lot more to say about it. And then we check in on what Arqueus is doing, which is finishing the game stuff that has to be done while everyone else gets ready to fight. And then there is just one of the worst images in all of Homestuck. It's just so hyper detailed.
It's mostly that butt with abs is bothering me.
It's the ghost tail abs. Because it's on the back of him, right? It's like, that shouldn't have abs. I mean, the front shouldn't have abs either, but what are they for? But yeah, so it's Dave Petta and Arqueus hugging, and it is the most important thing in Homestuck. It is just the best part of Homestuck. And, oh yeah, you made a note, because as he says, take a goddamn selfie of yourself posing next to this page, 9,828 of MSPaintAdventures.com, which is the wrong, obviously, like, this was written whenever it was MSPaintAdventures.com, and so Homestuck had the page numbers after, like, Problem Sleuth and stuff, so that's why the numbers are different. Let me ask, Tommy, can I ask another question? Did people pose with the picture of Arqueus-Sprite and Dave Petta-Sprite?
Of course people did.
I figured, but it was asked, so I have to...
Yeah. I don't remember what the hashtag was, but you could probably find some of those old pictures if you want.
Cool. Thank you, Dami.
Of course.
This is so great. Instead of Dami having to edit herself in, I can just ask her. I mean, she might still edit herself in if she doesn't hear me say something that's wrong. But, you know.
Now the latest trend should just be going to the probably page that doesn't exist anymore at MessPaintAdventures.com, going to the page and just taking a picture with a defunct web URL.
Yeah. I mean, I assume that we just go back to, I don't know. What does that go to?
Well, I'm trying to hit it now, and it's trying to hit Homestuck.com.
Well, Homestuck.com is just broken right now. I feel like sometimes it comes back up, but it's just down. That's why you should use the unofficial Homestuck collection for all your needs. I sound like I'm sponsored by them, but it's free. It's just a really good resource.
But take a picture of yourself with a broken Homestuck-based webpage.
Yeah, you really should do that, actually. What should the hashtag be?
Hashtag home selfie.
That sounds like just a selfie in your house. Functional website would just be about Tumblr. I don't know. We'll brainstorm it.
We need a pun based on Dave Sprite or Arqueus Sprite. Arqueus selfie.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would need more time for the marketing.
Yeah, we're clearly not like the biggest like marketing people. I also realized that because I was like glancing at your notes for stuff, I completely skipped past like my entire just huge thing about Dirk and Dave because you wrote Dave and Dirk building blah 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 blah. While I have just like more here than almost anything else. Them being chill and talking like obnoxious assholes is my favorite thing, which is true. They did both copy their brains. I did forget that Dave made a copy of his own brain and just put it in a jar instead of turning it into glasses that talk.
Mm.
Yeah, you're welcome for me existing. The Strider motto is very good. And I just have a lot of Dirk feels because this is where he talks about how like he just warps all of his relationships to be like, actually, everything bad about everything is my fault forever. I was just a toxic influence on everyone, so if anyone did anything bad to me, that was my fault. Obviously, I did everything bad to them. If they were bad to each other, that was probably also my fault somehow. And yeah, I mean it's just fucked up. And this is the conversation that really like gets me to like Dirk, because it's like, oh my god, so relatable, which is sad. It's so relatable how Dirk thinks he's a toxic element in his friend's life, and he's too intense. But yeah. But especially like the Dirk Jake relationship. I think this is another thing where fans took the character at their word for what happens, as though characters are reliable narrators about their perception of their relationship, right? I don't think this is as much discourse anymore, but it was discourse, I don't know, definitely around the time the comic ended, probably like before then too, probably since like Dirk and Jake were introduced, really. I mean, I don't really see a lot of Dirk Jake stuff anyway. But yeah, this idea that like, yeah, Dirk says that he was the one at fault for everything in his relationship with with Jake. And that's true. End of story. Dirk is the worst. Yeah, no, Jake also sucks at relationships of any sort and communication.
And they are teenagers, so
they're 16.
Everyone kind of sucks at relationships.
Exactly. Like, a 16-year-old is not, like, the most toxic influence and just I mean, they can be, but, like, they're not, like, the reason faults exist in other 16-year-olds. Like, that's just being a person, much less a 16-year-old. And, like, being weirdly intense about the one person you can be attracted to is, like... But, yeah, I mean, Dirk's just kind of an intense guy. What else he's got to do? He's fucking alone in the middle of the ocean, and Roxy's also... I mean, Jake's also... So, Dirk's alone in the middle of the ocean, and he just gets weirdly intense about stuff and builds a lot of robots to fight. Jake is alone in the middle of the ocean, except with more room. And he just gets really into movies, especially if ladies are blue in them, and also fights robots that Dirk builds, or a robot. Roxy is alone in the middle of the ocean, but also with more room and actual, like, sentient beings around. Well, I guess, like, what do you call it whenever they're, like, because sapient...
I think so.
Sapient is, like, whenever they can, like, maybe not talk, but, like, have... more than animal consciousness.
I feel like my brain vocabulary is not good today, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but like she still has other people to react to, and then she just gets drunk. Like that's a lot of how she passes her time, is like getting drunk and then making computer programs that explode people's computers for fun. And then Jane would be normal, except she's the heiress to an evil corporation. And deals with multiple explosions and assassination attempts. But yeah, so it was like, yeah, you're gonna be kind of an intense guy living in the middle of the ocean with the only sentient being around you is a clone of your brain who is an asshole to you because he's glasses.
Yeah.
You'd be weird.
Wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
Yeah, right?
I wish you talked to yourself as glasses.
Yeah, a self who hates you for putting, like, I mean, just like imagine...
13-year-old you.
Yeah.
Which is already bad enough.
Yeah. And his glasses. Like, imagine if you are 13 and suddenly you're glasses. And that's it.
You're like, I was looking forward to playing DDR, but now my dreams are shattered.
Exactly. Now all I got are, like, rhythm games that I can beat in 2 seconds because I'm a computer now. 2 seconds is an exaggeration. But yeah, and there gets to be more talk about, like, sexuality because, like, Dave finds out that, you know, Dirk is into Jake, which brings up so many questions for him about bro, which leads me... I love the comment that, like, I had this whole, like... Manifesto is a strong word, but I had this whole, like, thing about, like, bro sexuality. But really, a lot of it is just, like, some of my old thoughts paired with this one fanfiction that I'm fucking obsessed with. It is called Spurn My Natural Emotions. It's post-canon, but not, like, in line with the devlogs or anything. Yeah, it's just post-canon. Which I'm probably giving away spoilers just by saying this, but it's also just, like, it's not canon to anything. It's just, like, they're hanging around, and bro's alive again. And I'm saying stuff that could or could not be true, because it is a fan fiction. So just because I say anything doesn't mean this is a thing that happens in the comic or in the epilogues or anywhere. But so Bro's alive again, and so it's a Dirk Bro. Ultimately, it's a Dirk Bro fanfic. But most importantly, it does a like deep dive into just theories about how Bro was raised with with Lil Cal being like a possessed demon puppet that he grew up with since he was a baby, and like how that could have affected him, kind of like what Dave talks about here, and like what Bro's sexuality was and how that relates to like Dirk's sexuality, and just like how they are not the same person. And it just like really does it's just like that's what I base a lot of my Bro thoughts on now, is just like this one very, very good fan fiction that is Dirk Bro Hanahaki Disease. It's so good. Spur My Natural Emotions by Lorosaurus, which Lorosaurus, if you're in Homestuck fanfiction stuff, Lorosaurus shit hits. So, but yeah, it's good. Lots of thoughts on brosexuality that I'm just not expanding on here because I already expanded on just talking about the concept of brosexuality. Yeah, and then Dave says that John's too dense to understand that Dave's into boys and or Karkat, when John literally brought it up, like understood the context that Dave didn't even mean to be giving, like read between the lines of what Dave was saying to be like, so are you gay now for Karkat? And Dave's like, oh, no, we're not talking about this. I'm talking about something else entirely. And now he's like, I just don't think John will get it. What the fuck are you talking about? He already got it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and I made a note that one of my first Homestuck fics was, how did you tell your friends conversation?
Yeah, my notes are kind of over by now.
Yeah, I just, since I did this out of order, I had some notes on Jasprosesprite, but I'm just reading to see if it's anything worth bringing up, and it's not. Yeah, and then we're back on the lily pad.
Plate?
Huh?
the dinner plate in space.
Yeah, the lily pad themed dinner plate in space. And I don't know who said this, but the lines are you sure this isn't some sort of bullshit? It's definitely true and not bullshit. Let's change the topic. I can't remember the context, but does it really matter?
Nah.
And Terezi heads off with John doing some very obvious, cringy 16-year-old black flirting with Terezi before she leaves. And then I read too far and made notes, but I had to press enter to make it not there. But yeah, I guess it ends with Terezi opening the chat to talk to Vriska while she flies off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. There's a lot of talking.
Yep.
A lot of things were said.
The plan has been plunned.
The plan has been plunned. And it's everyone's getting into their places to set the plunned plan into motion. And I think the next episode is going to be it. I think it's going to be the end. I genuinely don't think I can find a reason to separate it up into 2 episodes unless I wanted to do really short ones for fun. I don't know.
Might as well read the rest of it.
Yeah.
So, like I was saying off call, is around the time the kids were getting themselves situated into the game and getting in there, I was like, okay, then action's gonna happen. And then,
Yeah, they're gonna get all set up, and then there's gonna be a Deus Ex Machina.
We're gonna have another reset.
Yeah, they get reset. This actually isn't the end. It's actually the beginning again. It's actually just, people have made, GIFs of the entirety of Homestuck. And so that's actually the last panel of Homestuck, is just, they open the door to, whatever comes next, and it's inside the door is just the GIF of everything that happened in Homestuck, because, this is a never-ending cycle. But yeah, no, I'm excited, partially because I already took notes on what happens next, and so I'm excited to read that next time.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice. I don't have to figure out where we're gonna end, and just get it wrong because way more happened in however many pages, or way less happened, or whatever. I don't have to get it wrong. It's just going to be the end.
Yay!
I guess any final thoughts about this section? Did you remember most of it?
No, I basically just hit forward through the pages again to make sure I saw the screens, and then I had the little summary of who was talking, but I guess maybe I'll have thoughts after Homestuck is over.
Yeah, I meant to spend the past month and a half actually thinking about what I want to do as a wrap-up episode, and I still haven't figured it out, because why think about things? Why make decisions until the last second, says ADHD brain. But yeah, I guess if you guys have any fun ideas for what you would like to see as a wrap-up episode for the canon of Homestuck before I get on my bullshit. Actually, we're reading Problem Sleuth next, so I still have time to get on my bullshit about Beyond Canon, or I don't know. Yeah, like I said, leave thoughts if you have them about anything generally. I don't know, what's your favorite color? Leave those thoughts in the comments, unless you're listening on one of the many, many podcast apps that don't have comments, in which case, email me. I don't know. You can find me elsewhere. You can leave comments wherever you want, really. Shout it into the void. Hello, Jackson Moosey. My favorite color is green. But also specifically about if there's anything you want to see in a wrap-up episode for Homestuck. And yeah, and then we'll start on Problem Sleuth. I might have an episode about Friendsim before then, because we did finish streaming that. And then I need to figure out when we're going to stream Hive Swap Act 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moosey, plug your plugs.
moosad.itch.io.
Hell yeah. That is in the links below. Always check the show notes for links. There is stuff to all my stuff, and Moosey stuff, and Dami's stuff, in the unofficial Homestuck collection. Go use it. And tell your friends to use it, to read Homestuck. Immediately. Now. Go! Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you to Dami for composing the theme song and editing the episode. You can find more of her work at soundcloud.com/dominothief. Shout out to our fakest fan tier supporters, Danny the Spoonlord and Tezrak. You can become a supporter and receive early episodes and bonus content for as little as $1 a month over at ko-fi.com/jaxyaks, or simply give a one-time tip. For information on and links to my other projects, head over to jaxyaks.com. Thanks again for listening.